Hey everybody, it's Lepogman here. A few days ago, I was talking to a friend on the topic of Call of Duty versus Battlefield, an ancient subject told in old times. And he was like, I'll take Battlefield over Call of Duty any day of the week. And I would have gotten into a large discussion about that, but I was like, gotta save that for the commentary video. And I'm just thinking, why? Because, you're clearly wrong. But, I'm gonna read a Reddit thread on this, obviously. Now, the discussion on Call of Duty or Battlefield is like the video game equivalent of console wars. You'll have like, oh, PlayStation's better than Xbox, and then you have Xbox is better than PlayStation, and then you have PC gamers. And in this case, we have Call of Duty's better or Battlefield's better, and then you have the people that'll be like, shut the fuck up, play something else. Both franchises are equally dead. I see a Reddit thread here, it's like, which series do you guys prefer and why? The leaded user says Battlefield for multiplayer, Call of Duty for campaign. I couldn't think that was more wrong. To be fair, the only Battlefield gameplay I've played is Battlefield 1. That was really good. But I feel like a lot of Call of Duty campaigns are quite dog shit. You have stuff like, whatchamacallit, Vanguard. You have Ghosts, which was pretty mid. You have Black Ops 3, that was horrible. Black Ops 4, Black Ops 5. I don't really know anything about their campaigns, but I'm assuming they're horrible. And then as far as I know, stuff like Battlefield 5's campaigns are good, I think. I know their multiplayers are insane. A lot of people prefer Battlefield because it's like more war accurate. You look at Battlefield 1, it's a really war accurate game, but then you also have to think like Call of Duty was pulling that shit back off in 2007 with World at War when it came to war accuracy. Another person says Call of Duty has a better single player, so I'm going with that. When they say single player, I don't know what they mean. I'm gonna just assume they're talking about the entire single player experience, so that would include zombies and campaign. That's another thing. Zombies. How can you go with Battlefield over Call of Duty when you have zombies? The best video game mode that's ever been created, arguably. There have been the bad Call of Duty zombies. I'm looking at you, Modern Warfare 3 reboot. But for the most part, that's like the funnest shit you can play. And just think about like Call of Duty, Black Ops multiplayer, Black Ops 2 multiplayer, Black Ops 3 multiplayer. Like, that's just the shit. Russellville says, I believe I prefer the Battlefield series overall. Don't get me wrong, I've played Call of Duty since the beginning. They both have their good and bad, but I think overall Battlefield is better. Call of Duty moves fast, but Battlefield is more involved. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. The direction of Call of Duty has gone in terms of the pay-to-play aspect. That's not to say that Battlefield doesn't do pay to. Dude, I'm so sorry, pay to play. But you don't really have to pay to play with Battlefield. Don't know what he means by that. But that is something I would say microtransactions probably, way less worse in, what is it, Battlefield. But are there really any like crazy cosmetics in Battlefield in the first place? I don't really know. Another person says World at War to BO2 era was the best. I would include BO3 in that, but yeah, how can you go with Battlefield and not COD? We also can't not touch on Battlefield 2042, since that was the last Battlefield game. You compare that to like Black Ops 6, which just released. That's the newest COD game. Call of Duty absolutely fucking slams Battlefield in that case. Although I have heard that Battlefield has gotten better updates and is in a better state to play. But overall, I still think the premise of Battlefield 2042 is really dog shit. But at the same time, when we look at the release date, I guess it would be more accurate to compare Battlefield 2042 to like Vanguard, I guess. Which in that case, I would probably rather play Battlefield 2042 than Vanguard. A lot of people care more about like the intricate details with like Battlefield 4 gun sounds. I couldn't give a shit about that. When it comes to actual gunplay, I think both series have, for the most part, really realistic gunplay. I say for the most part because you can look at Vanguard and you're using like a World War II weapon with like a laser sight. But let's be honest, we should probably disregard Vanguard. Are we really even going to count that as a Call of Duty game? But yeah, I don't really care about the sounds and shit. Although, yeah, that's a lot of people's main argument. The person says they used to like Battlefield until 4 dropped, which is confusing. I've heard 4 is actually like one of the best Battlefield games. I've heard good things about Battlefield 1, 4, and 5. Those are like the main Battlefields I hear about. But those are only like 3 titles that I hear about. You think about like the 10 different Call of Duty titles that are like praised upon to this day. Like, that's a big thing. I thought this segment would be longer. I'm gonna be honest, that's all I really have to be. That's all I really have to touch on. And I also just saw that this thread was created in September 17th, 2007. Wow, which was in the golden era of Call of Duty because that's when World at War came out. Anyway, that's all I really got to say. See you later.